So it's certainly positive.
Well, to be fair, Moira Deeming and others were
more redeeming. Rachel Wong has been very vocal. Yes.
Maybe the wall's about to break.
Fingers crossed. Rachel, we want to ask you on another matter about Iman Khalif, of course, the boxer who won gold at the Olympic Games. And
Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be checking out amazing Donald Trump's gender bill receives praise. Okay. This is going to be amazing. So without further ado, let's get into this.
Well, when I ask people why they object to Donald Trump, they invariably say that he's a misogynist and he's sexist.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
Is this serious?
Rosie O'Donnell was unable to join us tonight, but we do have Women's Forum Australia CEO Rachel Wong, and she's thrilled that Trump won the election. Rachel, thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
Great to have you with us. What do you say to those people who insist Trump's a misogynist as a woman? How could you be excited about him being the next president?
Look, as I was just saying to you guys before, I have my own personal reservations about Trump and his past behaviour and past comments and all that kind of thing. But I think to simply say that, oh, if you voted for Trump, you must be a misogynist, you must be a sexist or a racist or whatever other kind of pejorative language, I think that's just far too shallow look at the situation, and part of the reasons the Dems lost in the first place because they couldn't actually see the bigger picture. And the reality is the people who were voting for Trump weren't necessarily even voting for him personally at all. It's because of the policies, because of his pushback against the radical leftist ideologies, including radical gender ideology. He's talking about restoring women-only sports, banning the medical transitioning of kids, and then all the really everyday issues like economics and, immigration, all those kinds of things. So I think people can, use the name calling, but I think it shows they haven't learnt anything from this election, which is that over half the country actually want change, and just calling those people names is not going to get them the result they want.
Absolutely. And look, speaking of that, because he's already really getting on with the job, as he said that he would, he has announced that he will ask Congress to pass a bill establishing that only genders recognised by the US government are male and female, and they are assigned at birth. This is what he said.
The bill will also make clear that Title IX prohibits men from participating in women's sports, and we will protect the rights of parents from being forced to allow their minor child to assume a gender which is new and an identity without the parents' consent.
Rachel, how heartening is that to hear?
It's amazing. What I think's really incredible is that this clip is actually from over a year ago. I hadn't realised this till recently, but he ran his entire campaign along with a bunch of other issues, specifically on the gender ideology madness.
Yes.
And people overwhelmingly voted for him because of that. He said he's going to get gender ideology out of schools, out of government. He's going to stop the transing of kids. He's going to restore parental rights, restore women's sex-based rights. And that's what the American people wanted. So I think it's incredible. And what's more incredible is that the entire time he's getting vilified day in and day out by the mainstream media. People voted for him regardless. So I think even that in itself is incredibly hopeful because people are clearly breaking through that mainstream media propaganda where they've been told day in and day out that this person's bad, this person's evil, they hate whoever, and they're looking into things themselves and realising, no, these are the policies we want for our country.
Yeah. One of the things I thought was really interesting was Trump was very willing to talk about trans issues, whereas Kamala Harris, who's very supportive of trans ideology, she did not want to speak about it at all. So I want to ask you, do you think Trump's willingness to talk about protecting women's sport, to protecting women's private spaces will encourage Peter Dutton to take up that issue here in Australia? And do you think for the Liberals that could be a vote winner if they were courageous enough to actually speak about it?
I absolutely think it could be a vote winner, and I think for any politician that decides to campaign on women's sex-based rights and child safeguarding when it comes to, puberty blockers, surgeries, cross-sex hormones, I think that the US has shown that people don't want these things. We're getting contacted day in and day out from parents around the country who are sick of their children being indoctrinated in schools, sick of their kids being trans behind their backs, some who have had their kids forcibly taken off them from the state, who are having their daughters injured by boys in sports. So these parents, I think, are going to rise up. The women as well, who have had their sex-based rights jeopardised, who have had their single-sex sports taken away, their single-sex spaces and services, and who are, being sued or otherwise facing reprisals for speaking out on this, they are going to be rising up as well. And so I think absolutely it's going to be an election issue next year at the federal election, and I welcome that.
Yeah, I feel like the US election has started this conversation finally.
Yeah.
It's a conversation that the world really needed to have, so it's certainly positive.
Well, to be fair, Moira Deeming and others were trying.
Rachel Wong has been very vocal, yes.
Maybe the wall's about to break.
Fingers crossed. Rachel, we want to ask you on another matter about Aman Khalif, of course, the boxer who won gold at the Olympic Games. And
Okay, this was good. I feel coming online, a lot of people are really pissed that Trump won, and I couldn't wrap my head around it why people are so upset that he won. And now I see why, because he's going to take away the gender ideology stuff, because so many people are buying into it. So many people want to change their gender. So many people want to be identified by something else. So now I get why people are pissed that he won. But at the end of the day, I feel like it creates less of like confusion, because if you dress like a man or if you dress like a woman but you look like a man and someone so identify you as a man, and then you become pissed. I don't know, like right now, if you look at the way the US is going, there's so many confusion, there's so many disagreement, and people are so mindful of what they say because someone will get hurt. Like, we need to learn to take constructive criticism, and I think making people stay with the gender is one of them. Like, at the end of the day, every single day, there's something about us that we want to change. There's so many things about me that I want to change, but first and foremost, you have to accept who you are, what you have, and I don't know, first to accept yourself before you think about changing things, because you see people getting BBL, changing their gender, getting Botox, and at the end of the day, they're still not happy. So your happiness doesn't lie in how you change your physical appearance. It lies in what's within you. I don't know if I'm making sense, but that's what I understand for this. And I can't say if I'm happy or sad Trump won. I'm not in the country, so it doesn't benefit me in any way. But I'm happy for those who are happy, and I console with those who are sad. Do let me know what you think about my reaction. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my videos. I'll see you next time.